We offer services, seeing how we can help whatever, the need is. We give them resources, do referrals, and sometimes we go with them to court, like if they need a TRO, and we get assistance with the Family Justice Center through their legal advocate, their paralegal, I think that's her term. And sometimes we go, like I said, with the victims to court, whatever the resource is. Myself and the other social worker reach out.
My name is LaShante Jones. I am a social worker with the New Orleans Police Department, and I do work with Detective Irate and the other two people that's on this stage. And like Allegra said, we go to the court, we do whatever that is to help the victim. What I would say a benefit of us being on the in the same building with the Family Justice Center, when the victim is there, everybody is there, so we can all work with them as a team and link them to the resources that they need, so there's no one or no piece falling behind. Sometimes they'll say something to us and they forget to say it to the Family Justice Center and vice versa, so we can all work together when they're there and combine.
I could not do my job without these people up here. I need them. When my investigation is over, the trauma is still there for the victim. So I just can't do my job without the social workers and the members of the Family Justice Center. I utilize them on a daily basis. I have an ongoing joke. In the morning time, I'm with the New Orleans Police Department. In the evening time, I belong to the Family Justice Center. I have 2 offices. I'm there so much. But I could not do my job without them. Any questions about my role or anybody's role on the stage? Anybody wants to know how to contact the police department as far as an incident or a family member? Yes. Let me, I can't hear you. Can you, I'll bring the mic to you.
My name is Jada Powell. I'm a criminal justice major and psychology major sophomore. And I was asking, like, with the positions that y'all are in right now, like, how long did it take y'all to get there? Because I know it's like a process.
Okay, I guess I'll start it off. I've been with the New Orleans Police Department for 25 years. Within those 25 years, I've done various jobs. But for the past, I would say 4 years, going on 5 years, I've been part of the Investigative Services Bureau. I was a child abuse detective. Now I'm with the DV unit, Domestic Violence Unit.
I would also just say that the New Orleans Family Justice Center is open 5 days a week. We also run the emergency shelter. And so we're really open 24 hours, and we have a hotline. If you Google the New Orleans Family Justice Center, you can get all of that information. What we have learned through the years is that we are open for walk-ins. We don't require people to have an appointment, because we know it's very difficult when you're in trauma and you're reacting to a situation and you're seeking out for help, that we need to be available at the time that you're ready to seek help. And so anybody from the community, from really anywhere in the greater New Orleans area, can come to the Family Justice Center at 701 Loyola Avenue. It's at the main post office in their business tower. We will be able to help you. We will work with you to see what your needs are and assess what kind of opportunities and kind of resources you need to deal with your situation. So,
So I'm gonna say, when a survivor comes into the New Orleans Family Justice Center, what we let them know is that we are survivor centered and that we wrap the services around them. When survivors come in, everybody's situation is different. No one situation is absolutely the same, maybe, but not identical. So when they come in, we basically want to do an assessment on what's actually happening and what's going on so we can understand how we can further assist them. When families or survivors come in, not everybody is at the level where they want to leave or they're ready to leave, but they may be just trying to see how can I get support in the event I should leave. Because what we do know is when a person decides to leave, that is not the most safest time. It actually becomes the most dangerous time. So making sure that they are better equipped and prepared with the necessary tools and safety planning is very critical and important. Advocates are trained to listen to survivors, but also understand what services we should be connecting survivors to based off of what happened in that assessment. And in that assessment, we do a danger assessment, which we call a lethality assessment. And sometimes in that interview, the intake is what we call it, we will also learn that maybe something has occurred where they may need to see a forensic nurse to have a forensic medical exam completed and executed. And then earlier, Mary Claire said that we have a whole clinic on site, which is equipped with we have a forensic nurse, we have a doctor on site who is able to see survivors immediately. So if we had a sexual assault that had transpired, they're able to meet with that forensic nurse. If we had a domestic abuse and it involves some strangulation, even in a sexual assault with strangulation, they are also able to complete that forensic exam. It's very important that we're able to educate them during that intake process to let them know what has happened to them, what are the long-term impact that they may be experiencing from that they get proper treatment at that time. So again, like I said, it's based off of survivors' situation and what's going on. And it's based off of what they're telling us what their needs are at that time. I don't know who mentioned it earlier, and I think it was Judge Shepard who said that we can't just ask the question of why you don't leave or why are you staying, because what that says is that we're starting to victim blame, and we don't want to victim blame at all. We want to know how can we help you. What is it that you need from us today? And that's what we do together as partner agencies today. And I see South Legal, Louisiana Legal Services is here. I see our DV monitoring court system is here. I see some of our criminal court judges is here. And I see civil district courts. How can we help you? And how can we better advance our services? And that's what we do as an agency. We always working to see where can we fill in the gaps. How can we listen to survivors and they tell us, well, when I did this didn't work so well for me, and this didn't. Okay, so how can we improve? And that's what we really want to learn from you all today. How can we keep improving to provide the best services so we don't lose families in our communities to domestic violence and sexual assault? We want to help.
I would also, since we have so many young people in the audience, a lot of times, if you're experiencing something that just doesn't feel right in a relationship, most people don't identify themselves as a victim of domestic violence or a victim of sexual assault or a victim of human trafficking. So we want you to know it's not about the labels, and it's not about a certain type of victimization. What we want you to understand is that if there's something in the relationship that just doesn't feel right to you in your gut, that's when you need to talk to somebody and reach out. Is this normal? Is this what most people experience? And we deal with dating violence as well. It's not just for married couples. It's for any relationship that where power and control is a dominant factor. We really encourage and want to see relationships that are equal, that are supportive, where no one person in the relationship has power and control. And the other thing I want to say to you as young folks, really important, one of the things that we are seeing really quite a bit in these relationships is non-fatal strangulation. And I know this is a difficult topic to bring up, but we're seeing this more and more among college students. And so we want you to really understand that when someone puts their hands around your neck, even if you think you're cooperating or you're giving permission, this can be very, very serious and really can result in significant medical issues. It can cause early onset of strokes. It can have ongoing medical situations. And so we think we think that people are getting access through porn on social media. And so we begin to see more and more people reporting this to us. So we just really want you to think about what's important in the relationship to you. Are you being asked in the relationship to do things that you do not feel comfortable with or that don't feel good to you? Those are the kinds of things that we want you to be aware of, and that you have the power to say no. And we want you to have that voice. And so I just say that because we are seeing it more and more as a normalized behavior. And we're seeing it especially among young people. And so every single day, as Misty mentioned, we get survivors who come in, and we serve 4,000 survivors a year. 65% generally report that they have been a victim of strangulation. That means somebody either took something and put around their neck to inhibit their ability to breathe or to or stop the blood flow. And so this is very serious, and we see lots of medical reactions to it. So this is part of what we're trying to do, is to educate young people in terms of understanding that this is not something that you really have to put up with, that it is not part of a healthy relationship, and that is an indication of power and control.
I don't know if you've already shared this, but is there a phone number that we can lock into our cell phones and call a certain number if a person feels that they're being, abused or whatever the case?
We have a 24-hour crisis line. That's 504-866-9554. Again, that's 504-866-9554. That's our 24/7 crisis hotline number that they can call, and they will get a live advocate, and they can speak with that advocate at any time.
Thank you. So 504-866-9554.
Yes.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Also, of course, if it's an emergency, of course, dial 911. The non-emergency police department number is 821-2222.
We have one question.
That's a good question. So when children are involved, we have to notify the Department of Children and Family Services. So let's say this is a big thing that we actually teach at the academy every Thursday to police officers. So if a child is in a household where a domestic violence incident occurs, we are mandated reporters. We have to notify DCFS, and those children are victims in the investigation. So it doesn't matter if they don't see it, they can hear it. They could be upstairs, but they still are victims. So we are mandated reporters who notify DCFS. We get calls, various walk-ins, hotline, non-emergency number. Yes, we all are mandated reporters.
Yeah, and I will say many of the survivors who either call our crisis line or come to the Family Justice Center are not yet involved in the criminal justice system because they may not really want that. And so we respect that. We don't require them to report to the police. We try to listen, what do you need right now? And our crisis line and our shelter does take moms or dads that have kids, whoever the non-abusing parent is, and we bring them either into shelter. We will transport them to a safer place if they need to be transported to somewhere they can get more support. We have a number of housing components that we provide: emergency shelter, we have transitional housing, we have several apartment complexes that we can safely put survivors and their families while they're going through the decision about what they want to do. We just really want them to be connected with our advocates so that we can help with the safety plan and make sure that they are aware of all of the things that we want them to have in place so that they can do that safely. And then we're working in partnership with the police and with the criminal justice system so that if there is an active charge, that, you know, we are working with them to make sure that everybody is safe. But a lot of the survivors really that we work with, a lot of times don't really want to get involved with police, and often we'll see that, you know, it may be safer for them not to be part of the criminal justice system. So we really try to respect where they are, try to help them understand how the criminal justice system can be of support to them, and we try to, you know, advocate that position if that's something that's going to be helpful. You know, we talked about the civil protective orders. A lot of times that can really give them some remedy while they're making those decisions about what's best for their family. But as Misty had said, the first year in leaving a domestic violence situation is usually the most dangerous because the dynamics of the power and control relationship is changing. And so we know that that can escalate the violence, can escalate the stalking, can escalate a whole range of things. And so we really want to make sure she's educated, that she understands what the triggers are, what she needs to be looking out for, so that we can try to make her be as safe as possible during that period of time.
So yes, that is something that we do see, that does happen. That is a part of the power and control, that they do take the children and try to use the children as a tool to say, I am going to have custody of the kids and I'm going to make you miserable, I'm going to make you suffer. I'm the one that has the most financial abuse, I'm the one that's going to be able, it's more of the using that to make you think that you cannot and you do not have control over the situation. But in reality, you do. It does not, we don't look at the financial aspect of it. We look at who is the abuser in this situation and who is the person who should be held accountable. So if anybody's sitting in here and you feel as though because your partner may be the person financially capable, does not mean that they have control over the situation. They're just using that to make you think that because I am the one that is the breadwinner, I'm going to take the children, they're going to give me the children, and it's no way that they're going to, do not believe that.
And that's why it's so important for us to have this relationship with the judges, with the criminal court, criminal and civil court, because they are the ones that oftentimes are really hearing these cases, who are really trying to determine who the predominant aggressor is, what's really going on in the family dynamic. And so that's why it's important for all of us to be educated. Even the judges have to really understand the impact. And you know, and it's a tricky job for them because they have to protect the rights of both parties. And so sometimes that can be difficult, but you know, we just have to continue to educate everybody in the system, because any failure of any of the systems, from law enforcement to advocacy to the judges to prosecution to probation, every part of that system to keep survivors safe have to work in unison. And if there's any breakdown in any one of those systems, that's why the Family Justice Center motto is so important, because we see the connection between all of those. And the only way that we're going to keep survivors safe is at making sure that every piece of those systems work in conjunction and have the same goal in terms of keeping survivors and their children safe.
That's what I'm here for. Raise your hand, please, if you have a question.
Hello. Okay, I just want to take a second and give you guys the kudos that you actually deserve, because you're not taking the kudos that you deserve. This center is a very, very unique center. There's not very many centers like this that are across the country where you can come in and you can have something developed based on your individual basis. We have many, many shelters across the country that do a vital job of being there at the moment of the crisis. But the statistics that are out there is that 75% of the domestic homicide victims had already previously been there from non-physical abuse that goes on, and it's very, very difficult. And I'm sure that the police investigation will tell you is that it can become a merry-go-round of issues that continue with non-physical violence that from a psychological standpoint can be lasting trauma for years to come that become trauma triggers. And so to have a source of a center that allows for you to get all the different types of information and things you need, because the biggest thing of why so many wind up going back, what I call the recidivism rate for domestic violence victims, is that so many times, whether they're at court or they go to shelters or they go here or there or they call on a hotline, is that they get a pack of paper of resources. And I'm going to tell you is that somebody that's in crisis does not have time for a packet of paper. So as much as we think that we are trying to do our best, we are actually prohibiting them from being able to move forward. We are creating a tremendous amount of barrier, and that is what the significance of what Family Justice Center does, is that it takes away the paper and it actually puts things in motion, and that's what saves a victim to go from a victim to survivor and to actually move forward in their life. So I just want to make sure that all of you are getting the due credit, and I want the young ones to understand is that the biggest advocacy that this department does is that if you come in and you have non-physical violence going on, they can get you off the tracks and being able to help them momentum so that the police don't show up for a domestic homicide scene. So I just wanted to make sure that you all took the credit that you so duly deserve. So this is something that should really be replicated in many, many areas.
Well, thank you very much for that. And what we have learned is that you can give survivors brochures and you can give them lists of referrals. And if you're in crisis, you're not going to make it past the first one. You're not even going to get to the first one. And so to be available in real time when survivors are reaching out for help is critical. And you've got to be able to respond at that immediate time, in real time. So, thank you.
Just to be brief, since Ms. Misty did touch on it, I'm a current client of the Family Justice Center. I'm trying to get my case finalized in civil district court from my abusive ex-husband who gets to live in the community property house, has all 6 cars, has my credit tied up because my name is on these things. And I can't get over the hurdle. My case number is 2021-1874, which means my case has been open for 4 years. I'm on continuance number 11. We say this is a conversation here today. The resource I need my case heard in my final judgment, so I get my judgment on paper and move forward. This is the financial part of the abuse with the cycle. I survived the physical violence. I take care of my son. As long as it's tied up, there's no child support. My credit is ruined. I live across the street from a trap house in New Orleans East, while my abuser lives in a $300,000 community property marital home. And I've been derailed over and over again. When I get to the second floor civil district court, with continuance after continuance after continuance, I live it every day, and I'm tired. My current caseworker, the family justice center, saved my life when I slept in my car. And Miss Amanda is my current caseworker. I just need to be heard. All I'm asking is somebody in this room, Judge Shepard, not to put you on the spot. I need my case heard. Every time I come, my abuser, he has all the money. He took the community money. He lives, he has resources. And he goes from lawyer to lawyer to lawyer to keep the case open. So I cannot obtain a final judgment. And it's hard. And all these posters, my son is a young black male brought up. He is a victim because he's seen his dad beat me. I actually told him if I take another hit to my head, it probably will kill me. I've already written my obituary out. I've been fighting to get my case solved for 4.5 years. I didn't borrow. I didn't owe people everything. And every time I have a hearing set on that second floor of civil district court, I get derailed and the judge never gets to hear me. I just want my case resolved. I want my life back. But this is the financial abuse side that no one gets to see or hear. And I know these young people here, I live it every day. And yes, I'm educated. I have a degree from Xavier, an MBA, but as long as I'm tied to my abuser on paper, I'm stuck. We sleep on the floor when the gunshots ring across you from the trap house, but yet my name is on that $300,000 house. This is the manipulation of the financial abusive side of domestic violence. And this is my current situation. Again, my case number starts in 2021 and we're nearly into 2025. It's to make me so tired where I run out of money, where I can't fight the case no more, so the case will never end. So we say it's a conversation. I need somebody in this room. All I want is to be heard in front of the judge and get my side judgment, because I've taken my power back at that point. My son wanted, I don't know if Pastor Everett is still here. My son goes to McDonald 35. The football team went to help Pastor Everett. He said, Mama, Pastor Everett ain't helping people with food, but maybe he can help you, Mama. I don't want him to repeat what his dad in my abuse spectrum did to me. So I say that to say, I need somebody to all I want is my case finally heard and my side court judgment. And I won't forget about those that still fight this silent battle. And I'm tired. So we say it's a conversation. This is how the cycle. Everything on that cycle. I live with the PTSD. I live with the chronic pain from the concussion that nearly killed me. I played dead to save my life because he was going to kill me. The bullying. I know everybody at 7th District NOPD because I filed so many. As long as my case remains open, I'm in limbo. So we say, what else do we need? It is not just me. I can't be on the little bit of gas left in my car. For somebody to help me, I work every day. But again, as long as he holds the power, he keeps mine. And again, this is coming from domestic violence that occurred in the marriage. I'm stuck. So we need to talk about that issue. I hope that Congressman Carter was here. I've emailed, I called. I'm writing my own proposed legislation. They should limit the number of continuances to stop getting people derailed. Because it's going to kill me. And I've already told my sister, if I don't get my case settled, this folder right here is all my stuff I filed. And I get up every day. And nobody's hearing me. I don't have to do it. I'm so tired. I'm really careful of it. I'm just saying, the whole center, they help me when I step in my car.
I'm sorry to cut you off, and I hear you. I'm Detective Goudreau. I'm with the New Orleans Police Department, Domestic Violence Unit. I am willing to I'm listening to you, I hear you. I would love for you to come to our office, bring your financial documents. If we need to reinstitute a criminal case for financial exploitation, it is a violation of the law. So after the event, if you would like to come and talk to me, we can schedule a time and a date where we can actually do a forensic of your financial situation. Okay?
Good evening, panel. My name is Derek Wang, and I'm a graduate criminal justice student at SUNO. And my question is, I was going to ask Ms. Landry, but hopefully the panel can answer. Once you complete successfully the Family Justice Center, do you all have a tracking system to follow up with your cases?
So at the Family Justice Center, once a survivor comes in and they complete the intake process, they are assigned what is called a case manager. We have a case manager that will follow them throughout their entire case, which regardless to what referral they receive, their case manager will follow them all the way through. There's many components of the Family Justice Center. And again, I say it's based off of the need. If they're seeking housing, or if they're seeking counseling services, or if they're seeking civil legal services, or they need education and employment services, or they're working with the NOPD unit, they have so many different components. So that case manager is following their entire case until they receive all of the services that they requested in the intake. And sometimes, even after intake, there may be some additional things that we learn that they are seeking that we start working on in that process. So I can't tell you that, okay, you're gonna come in today and get an intake and your case, we're gonna be finished in a year. It doesn't work like that. It's all designed around the victim/survivor and what their needs are at that time and what they are requesting and what they're seeking. And as you can see, we're a system collaboration together. So it's a process things go through. And so it will determine based off of everything that they were seeking and received, will determine when their case outcome is complete. And then again, it may not, because then we also heard kids are involved, right? So then we also offer services to the kids. So the kids have a service process that they go through. We do have services for the kids. We have our children program, we have Playland, we have our pathways for children exposed to violence. And so they also have to go through their healing process as well. That takes time also. So I can't give you an end date because it's so much that we provide that they go through. We just can't say, okay, it's gonna take you a year and you're gonna be done. Are you gonna be healed? It doesn't work like that.
We have another question.
Yeah.
She could go first, because I know she.
Yeah. My name is Claudia Yupolo. I'm a mental health nurse practitioner, and my question is as regards to the mental health of the patients or the victims. As you all know, even after the violence, the trauma continues. What efforts do you have in place to make sure you have a warm handover for their mental health care after the whole incident? That's my number one question. But I want to just give you an example. I work with the opioid response program in Louisiana, and most drug courts mandate those patients in drug court to go for treatment. They actually make sure they go for treatment. So if you guys can put something in place to make sure they are following up with their mental health, because it's very critical. That's why most people that end up losing their life to domestic violence is not the first time. It's always been a repeated cycle, because there is no follow-up mental health. If they have good mental health, maybe medication, maybe counseling, they will be able to withstand and go the right way to navigate how they can do X, Y, and Z. Thank you.
I would just like to respond because I think what we experienced earlier just shows the depth and the intense suffering that victims go through trying to navigate through very complex systems that don't always succeed and don't always have the right answers. And when speaking about length of time, these are situations that go on for years. Healing the trauma, dealing with the systems is one trauma in and of itself. Dealing with the failure of those systems is another trauma. And then trying to regain your footing and your sanity and your ability to cope and deal with life as it goes on is tremendous. And this is not anything that is easy to deal with. And it just hurts my soul that this young woman is feeling what she's feeling. And so we as a system need to do much, much better. We need to continue, and I understand mental health is critical, and we have a number of therapists on our staff to help people with this. But when we see trauma after trauma after trauma building on top of that, we just have so much to do, and especially in New Orleans, I would say, where it's not just domestic violence, it's the impact of poverty, it's the lack of food stamps, for God's sakes. It's everything that we are dealing with as a country that disrespects people, that disrespects vulnerable families, that makes it harder and harder for people and families to survive. So we have to do better. We have to continue to hear the voices of those who are in pain, and we have to make these systems work better for everybody. So I just want to thank the young lady. I will definitely follow up with you. We will see what we can do. But I just want to say this is something that goes on for a long time, and the healing takes a long time to recover from. And it's not just one incident. Like someone said, this is over and over and over again. And there's so many societal structures that are in place that just creates more and more trauma for people. And so we have to be as flexible, we have to be as innovative, as empowering as we can to give people their power back, to give them their voice back, and to help them with the resources that they need to heal. Thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is Viaja Johnson. I'm a senior criminal justice major with a minor in English, and I just wanted to ask, based off of you guys' perspective, what roles and or services do y'all think that are in need that y'all can recommend to, myself and or my classmates to either assist with, whether it be internships, volunteer with, and or potentially pursue a future career in to reduce domestic violence?
We constantly use students and bring students on board so that they can really hear the voices and see the problems and see the experiences, real life, that survivors are going through. I think if there's one area that we need help with the battered women's movement in this country is to really think of alternative, innovative programming for perpetrators of violence, those who do harm. Because we all know that those who do harm probably have histories of abuse and trauma themselves. It doesn't mean we don't hold them accountable. It doesn't mean that there's not some accountability for what they've done, but we have not figured out an alternative treatment program other than the criminal justice system. And I just truly believe that jail can't be the only answer to this problem. And there's so many complicated factors involved in this, and until we can really think about how we address those who harm in a way that is healing and is accountable and is effective, I think that we just can't rely on the criminal justice system to be the only answer.
Thank you. My name is Charmaine Cassiope, and I have the privilege and the honor of serving as the Chief Operating Officer and Executive Vice President for United Way of Southeast Louisiana. Not only do I applaud the courage that was exhibited by this young woman who really shared with everybody here today the painstaking reality of what the economic challenges are for an individual facing domestic violence. I just want you to know I'm astutely aware that domestic violence will only live in silence. The most important thing that everyone here can do is to talk about it and to encourage individuals to expose it. There are many programs and services available, but I want to ask every single student here today, join with organizations like the United Way of Southeast Louisiana, who are leading advocacy at the state, local, and federal level to expand programs and services. Mary Claire, we're one of the largest providers of funding for the New Orleans Family Justice Center. We have transformed together how we address domestic violence in Louisiana since 2014, when we passed unprecedented legislation that has been documented, with a movie. That is how impressive it was. But I have to tell you, we created the Domestic Violence Prevention Commission at the state level. Get involved, read their reports, and stay informed on that. But advocate. I invite everybody here, if you're interested in participating in the advocacy work that we do, contact United Way and join us, because your voice can make a profound difference. And Mary Claire, I just want this whole audience to know how honored I was that you were selected by the mayor-elect to be a co-chair for public safety in her transition. You have earned that right, and you have earned it with blood, sweat, and tears, my friend. God bless you.
Thank you to everyone who participated on this panel. Thank you to the audience for the questions. Ms. Johnson is a great student. She is true to learning and participating. Every semester we do have our students here from Dillard University that are interning with some of you all throughout the city of New Orleans. And so we are here to make sure that information is shared, especially with our churches. And so I'm thankful to our church community who support us every year and come out. Why? Because we have people that are suffering in silence at all levels. And so it crosses all educational levels, socioeconomic levels, all racial levels. One thing that I want to kind of make sure that people in the audience know as well, we do have resources that the organizations use to help lawyers come in and help and advocate for people who are going through scenarios of domestic violence. And so we do have organizations that are out there that's in court with some of our survivors. And so we do try to make sure that people have resources. Of course, people also have the option to hire attorneys, but we know some people can't afford to hire attorneys. That's why it's so important. And I call Misty all the time, and she's probably tired of me calling her, but I call her because we know what the issues are, because we're seeing it every day. The next panel will be the panel of judges that are in criminal district court and in civil district court, because those are the people who are hearing the cases listen to the cases. And so I can tell you that the judges that are coming up next, they all have vast experience in domestic violence. And to Judge Tracey Davillier, she was the person who actually got me really more involved in domestic violence with a conference that she was in charge of about 20 years ago. So we are thankful to all the work that you are doing. We are thankful to all the work that the partners are doing. But the more we educate, and I'm very thankful that we got support from our news media who came out just to be able to share the information and share what we're doing here. So I think the more we talk about it, the more we touch people. All of you guys are on social media. So take pictures and post on social media. Why? Because we have to bring awareness. You can't just keep the information to yourself. So during our next transition or while the panelists are talking, post on social media and let people know that this is real. We have people that are impacted every single solitary day. And it's important for you to hear their stories so you can know it's real, take the information and go help save somebody's lives. So please help me thank this panel. In Family Justice Center, we do have just a small token of our appreciation that we want to present to the Family Justice Center. And so if you guys can stay right there, we're going to come over and do that.
Okay, so we are blessed to have a group of survivors here from the Bethel Community Center. We're going to ask you to come up as well. Y'all don't want to come up? They should have warned y'all. They didn't tell y'all about me. Also, the token appreciation is coming from the American South 5 Row 5 chapter, as well as our Domestic Violence Summit. So can I ask the brothers to come up as well? Okay. So again, I want to thank everyone that's here.